The disciples gathered around Buddha beneath the Bodhi tree. The morning sun cast golden rays upon the earth. Silence embraced the moment. Buddha gazed at them with deep serenity. His presence felt like still water. Calm, steady, and infinitely vast. A disciple spoke with hesitation. Master, the world weighs heavy on my heart. People judge and expect so much from me. Buddha listened with patience. His gaze carried neither condemnation nor indulgence. Only understanding. You suffer because you hold tightly to the words of others, Buddha said. Like grasping thorns. You wound yourself needlessly. The disciple lowered his head. But Master, when I hear praise, I feel joy. When I hear criticism, I feel pain. Buddha picked up a lotus petal and placed it upon his palm. Does this petal become more beautiful when praised? Buddha asked. Does it wither when condemned? The disciple looked at the delicate petal. No, Master. It remains unchanged. Buddha smiled gently. So too is your essence. Words may fall upon you, but they do not define your truth. The wind stirred. Leaves rustled softly, whispering nature's wisdom. Another disciple spoke. But Master, how do we walk through the world untouched by judgment? Buddha reached for his alms bowl. He turned it upside down, emptying it of water. When the bowl is full, it carries weight. When emptied, it is light. Let go, and you will be free. The disciple frowned. But is it not natural to desire acceptance? Buddha gazed at a river flowing nearby. The river does not pause to ask if it is admired. It simply moves forward, carrying life within. The disciple listened, absorbing each word like droplets in a vast ocean. Another voice rose. Master, people compare me to others. I feel small, unworthy. Buddha picked up 2 grains of sand. He placed them in his hand. Tell me, which grain is greater? Buddha asked. The disciple hesitated. I cannot say, Master. They are both simply sand. Buddha nodded. Then why do you compare yourself to another? Each being walks their own path. Each soul carries their own truth. The disciple's eyes widened. He saw his suffering reflected in his own mind. Buddha continued. A flower blooms not because it competes, but because it follows the rhythm of nature. So must you. The disciples sat in silence. The lesson settled within them like morning dew upon leaves. Buddha closed his eyes for a moment. His presence radiated stillness, an invitation to see beyond illusion. To free yourself, you must see clearly, Buddha said. Let go of external validation and walk the path with an open heart. The sun climbed higher. Light stretched across the earth, illuminating truth without words. The disciples bowed deeply. They carried the teaching within them, like seeds ready to grow. Buddha smiled. The journey continues. You must walk it with wisdom, not wait. And so, the lesson was complete, yet its essence remained eternal. Another day. Another lesson under the Bodhi tree. The disciples gathered in quiet reverence, their minds restless with unspoken worries. Buddha observed their troubled faces. His calm presence, like a still lake, reflected their inner storms. A disciple stepped forward. Master, I feel overshadowed by others. Their achievements make mine seem insignificant. Buddha picked up a handful of seeds. If I plant them, will they grow at the same pace? The disciple shook his head. No, Master. Each seed follows its own time. Buddha nodded. So too does each life unfold. Your journey is not measured by another's path. The wind carried the scent of blooming jasmine. The fragrance did not compete, it simply existed. Another disciple spoke. Master, I see men celebrated while I remain unknown. Why must the world favor some and ignore others? Buddha lifted a pebble and threw it into the river. The water rippled, then returned to stillness. The river does not choose which pebble disturbs its surface, Buddha said. Yet every ripple belongs to the flow of water. The disciple furrowed his brow. But I wish to be seen, to be valued. Buddha reached for a candle and lit it. Does the flame lessen when unseen? The disciple sighed. No, Master. It burns just the same. Then live as the flame, Buddha said. Let your light be its own truth, not bound by the eyes that witness it. A gentle hush fell over the disciples. Their hearts wrestled with understanding. One of them spoke. Master, I measure my worth against others. When they excel, I feel small. Buddha took 2 leaves and held them side by side. Tell me, which leaf is greater? The disciple hesitated. I do not know, Master. Each is simply a leaf. Buddha smiled. So too are you. No being is lesser. Each plays their part in the great unfolding. The sun stretched its golden fingers across the earth. Shadows did not diminish the light. A disciple sighed. Master, I wish to be free of this burden. How do I release comparison? Buddha closed his eyes for a moment. Silence deepened, the world breathing in stillness. You must see yourself clearly, Buddha said. Not through the eyes of others, but through the truth within. The disciple pressed his hands together in understanding. Buddha continued. A tree does not measure itself against another. It grows because it must, rooted in its nature. The disciples absorbed the words like rain upon thirsty soil. A final disciple spoke. Master, will I ever cease feeling this weight? Buddha looked to the sky. Clouds pass. The sky remains. So too will your burdens dissolve when wisdom takes their place. The lesson settled within them like sunlight touching the earth. Buddha stood. Walk without the chains of comparison, and you will know freedom. And thus, the disciples began to see their worth beyond the illusions of the world. Another day, another lesson beneath the Bodhi tree. The disciples gathered, their hearts burdened with fear of speaking their truth. Buddha sat in silence, observing the weight they carried. His presence alone was a lesson in stillness and understanding. A disciple spoke hesitantly. Master, I wish to share my thoughts, but I fear judgment. Should I remain silent? Buddha picked up a fallen leaf and held it gently. Does the tree mourn the leaf when it falls? The disciple shook his head. No, Master. The tree remains rooted, undisturbed. Buddha nodded. So too must you remain grounded. Speak not to be accepted, but because truth must be expressed. The wind stirred, carrying whispers of nature's wisdom through the air. Another disciple spoke. Master, I fear my words will be misunderstood. How do I speak without causing harm? Buddha cupped water in his hands. Then let it flow back to the earth. Let your words be like this water. Clear, nourishing, and free from impurity. The disciple pondered. But what if others twist my words? Buddha pointed to the sky. Clouds may obscure the sun, but the sun does not cease to shine. The disciple bowed in understanding. A third disciple spoke. Master, should I shape my words to please others? Buddha picked up a clay pot and tapped it gently. If I shape it to match another's desire, will it hold water? The disciple examined the pot. No, Master. It must have form and purpose. Buddha nodded. So must your words carry intent, shaped by wisdom, not by the hunger for approval. The disciples sat in quiet reflection, absorbing the lesson. Buddha continued. Truth is not bound by praise or condemnation. It exists beyond perception, steady as the mountain. The sun stretched its golden light across the land, illuminating the teachings without need for words. A disciple sighed. Master, I fear speaking from my heart. How do I find courage? Buddha closed his eyes. Silence deepened, embracing the moment. You must first trust yourself, Buddha said. A river does not question its flow. It moves because it must. The disciple pressed his hands together in respect. Buddha stood, his presence calm, unwavering. Speak with wisdom, with kindness, with purpose. Then, your voice will serve, not harm. The lesson settled within them like seeds ready to grow. And thus, the disciples walked their path, no longer fearing the weight of their own words. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.